in the public comment session, I told them, I said, you just came off the most disastrous budget cycle ever. I mean, they were crying. They were saying, oh, well, we got to do something. They're laying off people. They're cutting programs. They started off with a $36 million deficit, which they claim they whittled down by hard work. But, the crock, you can't believe anything they say about it. But anyway, so here they are. That was into May, that they voted on the budget. It was a legal budget, but that's another subject in itself. But here we are, like 2-3 months later, and they're just back to this rampant spending. I mean, I'll just touch upon some of the items. One was the greenhouse. They're building a greenhouse up a trailside for $250,000. I mean, the question is, why? Why the hell do you have to have that now? I mean, especially after a budget cycle. Why don't you step back for a year just to see if whatever controls you put in place and you implemented is actually going to work, which, by the way, I'm going to say it's not going to work. Next year is probably just going to be as bad, but that's my conjecture from watching them all these years. But why don't they just stop? Just stop it. But I think they're just too stupid. They just spend. I would assume that probably Charlotte DeFilippo, who actually controls the bobblehead freeholders, tells them what to do, and that's it, and they just spend. So that's my comment, but moving into the golf operations, because they're spending a lot of money on that, but Jim will talk about it.
Well, let's talk about golf for a minute. About 3-4 years ago, just before they bulldozed Oak Ridge Golf Course, we were told it was losing approximately $400,000, a number that could not be substantiated. We questioned it. Right now, Resolution 2012-661, they are authorizing spending $180,000 for a 4-month period to review the bunkers and the tees at Galloping Hill. $180,000 for 4 months of work. Outrageous, when they had to close a golf course. So actually, I spoke tonight and stated that really the cat's out of the bag. They are not building a golf course for the rest of the golfers in Union County. This is an ego trip. They're looking to get a U.S. Open there. It's all about Galloping Hill. It's nothing about Ashbrook. It's nothing about the golfers. It's how much they can spend to attract an Open. And they won't admit it, but that's the goal and objectives in spending this money. You drive by what they're building.
Oh, God, it looks like a huge casino.
It does.
40. Yeah, let me just tell you. 45,000 square foot, 3-story building. And that's the clubhouse. There's also some offices and banquet facilities. And they have a private enterprise, Taylor Made or something like that, which they gave a sweetheart deal to. So it's like the taxpayers are even paying for that. And by the way, the cost, $15 million plus another $2 million to Kemper for some kind of administration. It's going to be up there around.
The add-ons are coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's expenditures.
$362,000.
Plus,
like
you mentioned, 3 years ago, they spent $200,000 approximately to redo the bunkers, and here they are. They said they're spending $180,000 to redo all the bunkers, which means they're redoing the same bunkers that they just did $200,000 2 years ago.
Got to get them just right.
Yeah.
Speed up play.
It's just speed up play. Here, you talk about that because you're a golfer.
Well, I know for a fact the bunkers at Galloping Hill were taken out 10 years ago because the golfers were complaining that play was slowed down because of the number of bunkers. So they were taken out, and just 3 or 4 years ago, they were put back in. And now we're being told that we have to tweak those bunkers with upwards of $250,000 to get them just right so we can speed up play. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's nothing about golf in Union County. It's all about the Open that they're going to look to have here and at some time in the future. I guess they're jealous that Nassau County in Long Island had the U.S. Open at Bethpage State Park, and we're going to have the first one at a regional golf course right here in Union County.
Jim, do you think that Kemper told them they should redo the bunkers after they did the bunkers, that the bunkers just weren't perfect for whatever Open and that you should spend more money to redo them? You think Kemper was involved in that?
Do you really think so? Do you think Armando Sanchez came up with that by himself?
Sanchez, yeah.
All right.
Is he a golfer? Does he even know how to golf?
He graduated a golf school. He did not get his PGA card. All right. So most people running golf courses in America have their PGA card. Not ours.
No, he's got his George Devaney friendship
card. There you go. That's all it was needed.
He was just all he was a trainer at some gym.
All right. So that's the scoop on golf in Union County.
Yeah, some I'm sorry. A little levity, because it's going to get a little testy. Is it? Yes, it is. But Bruce Patterson, good evening, Chairman Maribel, ladies and gentlemen. We hold the board, Bruce Patterson, Darwin, New Jersey. I mean, there's a lot to speak about, but I mean, one in particular, so I'll jump right to it. Number 659 on page 7. I have a draft copy, maybe on page 6, 8, but it's number 659. And there you're increasing to Kemper construction management service contract for another $362,000 for a new contract amount not to exceed $2,098,000. Now, the last time I was here, I think it was March, and you had a contract you were going to give them for $1.7 million. That was for construction management service, and it was also for design and architectural fees for the whole building. So that was 1.7. Suddenly you're doing 362. But let's back up a little bit because, like I said, that last one was 1.7 million. But before that, there was also a contract given out in January to Kemper just for construction management services, and it was 10% of the contract, or $1 million, and the contract 10% of whatever the 15 million. So it's $1 million tops. And just looking at that, this is for construction management, and $1 million is a total ripoff. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys are ripping off the taxpayers. I'm in construction. This is what you're getting for $1 million. And I'm not just talking about the construction itself. I'm talking about just construction management, which is somebody standing there overlooking it. And here's this $1 million that you're giving them. Obtain necessary permits. Review project budget. Review schedule. Coordinate with the general contractor. Review change orders. Review payment requisition. Review change orders again. Conduct progress meetings. Inspect the progress of the work. Review punch list items. And also provide on-site supervision 3 days a week, not even 5 days a week. I mean, all this is reviewing, yet you were giving $1 million out to them for that. I have no idea who negotiated this. The cover letter's by Norm Albert, which I find fault with in so many levels. I don't know. But whoever negotiated this contract for 10% for just a bunch of review with the construction management is totally incompetent. I would like to know who did this $1 million contract. I would really like to know who was involved. Now, moving back to this same one, 659. Somehow it went from $1 million, which wasn't even in a resolution, to 1.7, which made a resolution, and now you're adding $362,000. Back then I spoke on that, and I said, to tell you the truth, if you add in all the percentages of design fees and construction management and architectural fees, it probably would be maybe 10%, 12%, and I was saying it may be up around $2 million. And you guys in Kemper, well, I don't know if Kemper's here, but I'll tell you guys, Kemper's up here, and you guys say, oh, well, we did great job. We got it at $1.7 million. Now I'm looking at another $362,000 for almost $2.1 million. This turns into such a waste of money. All it is professional fees. $2 million for who the heck knows what. I don't even see the term architectural design in here anymore. All of this construction management. I really want to know accountability. I want to know, first of all, who set up this $1 million contract. And suddenly I'd like to know why it's also $2 million. I guess I have additional time. Answer the questions after the end, that'll be fine. But no, just moving on this same page. We're looking at additional design construction services for bunker and tee renovation, $180,000. That's number 661. Design and construction administration service, $180,000 for bunker and tee renovation. Another one. Oh, you crossed out. Okay. at least you deleted one from the last agenda, because I was here at the agenda. And that was construction management services for, I guess it was Oak Ridge Park, but you deleted that. I'd like to know what the reason why was you deleted on that one. But, you know, also you have procurement of management and operations of the ice skating center, which is going to go out at Oak Ridge. I mean, it's like the spending, the waste and the spending. There's also another one in here. I hate to interrupt my train of thought, but there's another one. A greenhouse, number 648. You're building it for $252,000. The budget was a disaster. I was here. You were here. You were crying. Budget was a disaster, and yet the spending just goes on, and the waste that I'm looking at, it's just mind-boggling.
All right,
I can't believe it.
you've asked your question, your time is up.
You might as well throw it out, because I'm going to be ranting and raving about this. You guys are hurting the taxpayers. You have no concept of what you're doing up there. No concept.
I'm gonna ask you to sit down.
I will sit down. I'll be up again, though, of course.
No, you have no chance.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to call up Armando Sanchez, golf director, and also Dan coming in from Kemper to kind of talk through the golf situation for construction management. Now, while you're there, you might as well speak a little bit of the design issue too of 661. That would be great.
Absolutely. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'll discuss 659. The original $1 million awarded as construction management, that was not only construction management, that was also design engineering. It was the complete, like again, construction management, engineering, and design as well. Then we passed the change order, again, like Mr. Patterson said, that brought it up to 1.7, which we anticipated we were going to get through the project. What we're looking at, this new change order for 362, is really to get us through the project. The project is extended out 4 months beyond what we had anticipated, so this will be, a portion of that is going to be obviously for the additional construction administration, not only from the construction manager, but also our engineers, our architects as well have to be, are extended, their portion is extended for the next 4 or 5 months. There's also a portion of that is for the value engineering of the project, because the original bid came in at around 20. What we did was a value engineering with, again, our construction management team, all of our engineers, that brought the bid down from 20 million down to 15 million, which is the current contract amount for the clubhouse and the learning center. There was also a scope in regards to our utilities. Various utilities had to be changed as well, which our engineers, our civil engineers as well had to do the work on that, which is our gas, our electrical, as well as our water. That changed in the scope as well. So that's what encompasses is $362,000. And again, it does take us all the way through the completion of the project.
Okay, so we shouldn't anticipate anything.
No.
All right.
And then the 188, which Mr. Patterson spoke of, the 180 for Reese Jones is, again, this is a separate project. This is the design and again, and construction administration of our bunkers and tees at Galloping Hill. We've said we were going to renovate the bunkers and tees at Galloping Hill for the last 2 years. This is, again, we brought in Reese Jones to do this work. Reese he's regarded as the #1 architect in the world. What we're really looking at doing is the bunkers and tees at Galloping Hill need a significant work from an infrastructure perspective. They've been around for 20 years. They need to be redone. We're getting a lot more play. So what we're looking at the bunkers is drainage, irrigation, to really sustain them not only for the next 2 to 3 years, but also the next 20 years for more playability. We're also looking at these bunkers as making them more user-friendly. So speed of play is obviously going to help for the average golfer. The same thing with the tees. The tee complexes are going to be expanded, and they're going to be worked for not only the seniors, but also for the better players. So it is really just to make better maintenance of our golf course, but also as well as usability for our players.
All right. That's it. Any questions while the gentlemen are here? All right. Well, thanks. I think that helps. Unless you have something to do,
I think you covered it.
covered. All right. Fair enough. All right. Then there also was a question on the Oak Ridge management. It seemed like there were several folks who needed additional information before making a decision on that particular project, and we're waiting for that. All right. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak?
Good evening, Chairman, freeholders, Jim Bittner, Cranford. Well, let's continue with Resolution 659. I listened to what the Armando Sanchez had to say, Director of Golf had to say. I'm not understanding this. Maybe needs further explanation. Didn't we just spend a boatload of money to put new sand and fix those bunkers last year? And we're fixing them again this year? Not understanding why we're continuing having to fix those bunkers and get them right, and the tee boxes. I remember additional allocation being spent last year because we ran out of sand. We need more sand. So that could be explained to me why we're continually fixing these bunkers. And the fact that we're trying to speed up play, that's just a complete fallacy. The bunkers were taken out of Galloping Hill over 10 years ago to speed up play, because people were complaining the bunkers slowed down play. We've now put the bunkers back in. So that's a complete inconsistency. I just want to point that out. All right. The other thing I don't understand with Resolution 659, 661, all the monies that we're now spending at Galloping Hill. What about that poor golf course called Ashbrook? It seems to be the stepchild of the Union County Park system. We don't seem to be spending a nickel over there. Are we going to close it eventually because it's not needed? Or are we just going to continue to build the Taj Mahal of golf over at Galloping Hill? It seems like there's a unspoken agenda as to why we have to build this homage to golf at Galloping Hill at the expense of the old Oak Ridge Golf Course and the Ashbrook Golf Course, where we're not spending any money whatsoever. If we're trying to spread it around the county and get the most play for the golfers in Union County, I just don't understand why it's all being focused completely at Galloping Hill. Maybe that could be addressed, all right? Now, moving on to other resolutions. One of the ones that has come to my attention would be 641. This seems to appear on the budget every year. Money's being allocated for the Workforce Investment Act Youth Program, and it's sponsored by Freeholder Kowalski here. And when I think Chairman Chairman Scanlon, Freeholder Scanlon was chairman, I asked for a presentation where we would maybe we could ask Freeholder Kowalski to do a presentation on the goals and objectives of this program, of past programs, the number of students served, the number of graduates from the programs in the past, and then why we are paying in advance. I'm not sure what that's all about. So maybe just an actual presentation explaining what this $60,000 is going to be spent for. I think that would be quite nice to give the taxpayers an explanation of the $60,000 being spent for. Let's see. My time is almost up, so I want to move along. On Resolution 649, the Work First New Jersey grant, I was wondering if you would be able to ask Freeholder Sullivan, who's the sponsor and Freeholder, to do a presentation and maybe enlighten the taxpayers of Union County what the $2.5 million grant, which is a grant, and I understand the grant, not money that's directly coming out of Union County's taxpayers' pocket, but it is. Maybe he would be able to do a presentation to the taxpayers here and on the TV as to what the goals and objectives of that grant are and the efficacy of that grant. We've already talked about Galloping Hill. Well, let's talk about 661. We are spending $180,000 for 4 months. That's $50,000 a month. That's a lot of money. I can't imagine what we're doing. Actually, I'd like to know what we are doing for $50,000 a month on tee boxes, and bunkers. Resolution 662. We're looking to go out for competitive contract bidding on the management operations of the ice skating center and the Parks Department. By reading that resolution, am I to understand that we're looking to outsource the ice skating function of the Parks Department, much like we did the golf activities in Union County. And then let me just give one second. Resolution 663, Barclays is able to direct what $80,000, how $80,000 is going to be spent in Union County. Maybe we could talk to the council to see if that is actually
All right,
ethical
Mr.
or legal.
Is that finish your-
There's a lot of resolutions
There's a lot
here.
going on, yes.
I know, a lot of money that's being spent, and we need to know more about it.
All right, so I'll try to answer some of your
look forward to
questions.
your answers.
Very good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. 659 and 661, I don't know what could be discussed further unless there's some kind of discussion on, from 661 on what exactly is the plan for the design improvement and the work there. Armando, if you want to come and kind of explain that a little bit, it might be helpful to members of the public and to the board. And while you're up there, if you could talk a little bit about Ashbrook, they certainly have not been forgotten.
661, Reese Jones is going to develop the plan to go ahead and renovate all of the existing bunkers that we have at Galloping Hill. Again, that's drainage, irrigation. It is to help speed up play where we're going to make these bunkers a lot easier and position them in a way that they are easier and more friendly for the golfer to play at. The tees, for instance, are going to be expanded. You're looking at roughly 16 tee complexes that need work. You're talking about the ladies' tees, which many of them need to be redone, leveled, expanded. You're talking about senior tees that need to be expanded, increased. You're adding some tees to get some length also to the golf course so the better player can enjoy the golf course a little bit more. And again, that's design, concept, administration of the project all the way through. It's not just just looking at a golf course and giving us a design for it. Ashbrook. The main challenge at Ashbrook right now, what we're looking at is we need water. We're on a very strict restriction of water usage at Ashbrook, where we can only draw down about 100,000 gallons of water a day on our current well system. What we're looking to do is the first thing we have to do at that golf course is two things. Water is a problem when it doesn't drain properly, so we have seen a solution on draining the golf course on the holes that tend to flood when we do have some heavy rainstorms. We have to basically get 3 or more holes that we figured a solution in-house. We have to get those 3 holes done, the remaining 3 holes done. That's going to be worked on over the fall. The irrigation issue is when we don't have water, the golf course only has one single row of irrigation, which it does not allow us to expand, to irrigate the whole entire golf course from wall to wall, as we call it. We need more water. The state is regulating us on the amount of water that we can pump out on a monthly basis. We need to go to the state and ask for more water in order to increase our irrigation at Ashbrook. And that is a very lengthy process because, again, we're drawing what happens at Ashbrook being that it sits on a wetlands, that when we tested it, when we tried to increase our water, what happens is we actually draw down on the wetlands. So we have to find a way where if we draw down on the wetlands, how do we replenish it as well? So that's the challenge that we're facing right now with Ashbrook.
All right. Also, Director, if you can speak a little bit, I do remember talking about bunkers before in sand. I know this is more of a redesign of some of the areas, but what was done before and why is this different now?
What we did before was we kind of refurbished the ones that we already had. New sand was placed in a lot of the bunkers. I would say probably 75% of the bunkers that we have at Galloping Hill, the new ones were built, like Mr. Bittner said. We utilized building the new, for instance, the new bunkers at the driving range, which we did. We also utilized building some of the bunkers around the new clubhouse at 18 and 9. That sand, and which we had asked for the extra additional dollars, was utilized again to refurbish the existing bunkers. Now, what this project is the drainage, the surrounding infrastructure of the bunker needs to be redone. As we continue to rehab our current bunkers, we're finding more and more problems. And again, it's not about today, it's about trying to sustain this golf course for the next 20, 25 years and make it playable. That's what we're trying to do.
All right, thank you very much. I'll ask Director Guzzo to come up and give a couple of comments, although, perhaps in the future you can go into a little bit more detail on some of the workforce investment and workforce development, but anxious to hear his brief summary on what it is now. Perhaps we could put a presentation together. I think that's worthy.
Mr. Chairman, I beg your indulgence. I was not in the room when the questions were being asked. I was handling a crisis at the juvenile detention center.
Okay.
So if you
No,
don't
that's
mind,
right.
if you would, someone would repeat the questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
It was 641 and 649, those two particular resolutions, and kind of a little bit about those two resolutions, what they accomplished, what do they set out to do. They're grant funded, but what exactly benefit do we get?
641 provides a specific program for the city of Elizabeth for kids that are eligible.
Can you speak more into that mic, please?
641.
What's with the mic? I mean, what's with that? You gotta fix that, it's too loud.
641, is that better? 641 provides a program for kids in Elizabeth, provides a work experience and a stipend. It is a companion to the regular summer program that we always operate. It gives the kids the opportunity to earn some much-needed income that they contribute to their family households during the summer months when they are unfortunately idle and not in school. It also provides a learning experience that helps them keep up in current with when they go back into school in September. That's 641, and I'm sorry, 649. 649 is just a master budget based on all of the titles that we get for workforce, whether it be welfare to work, whether it be Workforce New Jersey. According to the statute, there is a memorandum of agreement between both the Freeholder Board and the WIB Board. The WIB approved this budget, and now it is the freeholders' turn to approve that budget. It just allocates all of those resources between training for various types of contracts for various agencies and vendors, and also supplies and provides for money for the admin portion. In other words, cost of doing business in order to do audits and do the type of information necessary to comply with state regs. And at any time, we'd be happy to do a presentation on what we do.
Good, yeah, maybe we can plan some of that.
Sure.
Down the road. I think that'd be helpful for the board. All right, thank you, Director.
Thank you.
662, I'd like to call Director Zuber to come forward and talk a little bit about the skating rink management.
Through you, Mr. Freeholder, as the resolution states, this authorizes us to get into the competitive contracting process. This gives us the ability to seek out a operations manager for our ice skating rink. Should we stay the same? Should we expand? Currently, right now, our department has one full-time person running our operations for the ice facility. It's true right now we're only open 6 months of the year, but as I said, should we expand, we want to be ready.
Okay. Thank you very much, Director. All right, anyone else wish to speak on items that are on the agenda?
John Berry, Kenilworth. Three things. First is 657, the RFP for retirement planning services. At no cost to the county. What's the nature of that? Because offhand, it looks like some companies coming in to try to sell annuities or insurance to your employees. I mean, that's, at no cost to the county. I don't know what they'd be doing for at no cost. Second thing is on 659 and 661, the golf resolutions. And as far as bunkers go, bunkers actually are a hazard, so I don't really see a need to pretty them up or improve them, and drainage on a bunker. I mean, what exactly are you trying to accomplish? Like, the water doesn't drain from the bunker? It just seems like a waste of money. And if you could really have a bad bunker. I mean, the Brits Open, they had these walls in front of the bunkers, and it looked, like they didn't put any effort at all into cleaning that up. So you could just sell it as a hazard. I mean, they have the worst bunkers in the world. Put that up on your sign. But if anybody were trying to get the cost of Galloping Hill to date, which I did, I tried. I went through the tech registry and I came up with like 8.5 million. If you add Kemper, Claremont, just generally what was done. But my question is, well, twofold. Are there any other costs, like the material? Like Bayway Lumber has a lot of bills in there that's being paid. Is any of the material coming from any place else in the check registry? Or is any other architectural engineering coming from other places in the check registry where they just label it engineering services? Are any of those engineering services included in there? And do you have a number? That is, do you have a number to date of what Oak Galloping Hill is costing? And the last thing, I guess it's 666, that it just says Linden Parade on my thing. Do they have a generic parade just for Linden, or is this any specific? I don't know, it's not, I have a draft copy, it just says Linden Parade.
It's a Halloween parade.
Oh, they have a Halloween parade. Okay, that was it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Berry. I think I'd like to call Director Dorado up and talk about the retirement plan resolution, which is 657. Kind of explain that a little bit, Director.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to defer to the Finance Director on that question for you.
Very good.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2012-657 is indeed awarding retirement planning services to Economic Planning Group for broker of record for the county's 457B deferred compensation plan. It is 100% employee-run, and there are no costs, as the resolution states, to the county. All the fees are paid out of the employees' contributions to the plan that's held at the Hartford.
All right, Director, thank you. I'm not exactly sure how to answer cost to date and cost of other materials unless Director Sanchez has any other information on that.
It's just the same check registry. There's no other.
So it's all within, there's no other costs outside of that? All right.